Hello everyone, it's Al and Jim here in a Bocage lane. B is for Bocage,
yes,
A is for Aramanche, C is for
Carentan.
Yes, we've been to Carentan.
We've been to the ABC of Normandy.
That's right, and that's why there's no new content this week, because this week we've been making new content here in France. And we've been all over the place. We've been to Port-au-Bassin for D+1, 47 Commandos, Terry Cousins.
Yes.
On the Eastern feature. We've been to...
Stopping the Panzers with the Canadians.
Exactly, we've been... Yes.
Abbé Dardenne.
Abbé Dardenne, we've been to Hill 112, we've done the Epsom battles, we've been looking
We've even done Pont-Hoc.
We've even done Pont-Hoc, yes, exactly, although... Slightly wry take on Pont-Hoc, perhaps, Jim.
Yeah, well,
yeah, why not? But we also had a fantastic time in Carentan with Paul Woody from World War II TV.
Yep.
And Jim, next week you'll be able to see Jim having the time of his life with tanks.
World War II Armor over in Florida.
If there's one thing that makes this man happy, it's dirty, grey, olive drab vehicles going bang. And so Jim was in his...
Sunken lanes in Normandy made me happy.
Yeah, I know, but you like the crashes, bangs and wallops. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I hate saying it. They make me say it. Maybe if enough of you like and subscribe, I'll never have to say it again, so please like and subscribe. Thanks for joining in with WW2 Headquarters. See you soon.
Yeah, see you next week.
Cheerio.
Bye. Spandau! Well, I am incredibly excited to be here beside the 88mm dual-purpose anti-aircraft and anti-tank gun. It is incredibly rare. It's the only one working anywhere in the United States. In fact, it may even be the only one that's live firing in the entire world. One of the most fearsome, notorious guns of the entire Second World War. To see this firing, which we'll be able to see later on today, is super rare, super special. And the other thing that's really interesting about it is it's just incredibly straightforward to use, despite its complexity. You know, you literally just wham a shell into the breech, pull the lever, and off you go. And it means you can fire kind of 15 to 20 rounds of this per minute, each at a kind of kilometre a second. So the concept of the Sturmgeschütz was really what the British called an infantry tank. This idea that came out of the First World War, that you've got infantry moving forward, you can't kind of exploit because you don't have the firepower. And actually it's Erich von Manstein, the kind of famous Second World War field marshal, who comes up with this concept in the mid-1930s and puts it to the army in about 1935. And they create this concept of a fixed assault gun that can support infantry. And the original Sturmgeschütz that comes out is a low-profile, simple tracked vehicle, but with a short 75mm gun. And the shorter the barrel, the less the velocity. It's just there to provide a little bit of extra boost. But as the war develops, what they realize is they can't mass produce vast numbers of tanks in the way that they want to. They can't compete with other countries, not least, of course, the USA and the USSR. They just don't have that capacity in Germany. So what they are doing, they're trying to kind of cut corners. And one of the things about the Stug is it's mainly the mainstay Stug, the one we've got at the moment, is based on the chassis of a Panzer Mark III. Panzer Mark III really becomes sort of obsolescent from middle of 1942 onwards. But the chassis is absolutely fine. Mechanically, it's reasonably reliable. It's comparatively straightforward. If you look at the tracking system, again, it's quite easy to get to the suspension. It's quite easy to change the tracks. It's quite easy to access mechanical parts. And we've been saying this before, but when you've got a very complicated thing like a tank or an assault gun, you want to keep it as simple as you possibly can. You know, you're trying to put young guys who haven't had a huge amount of driving experience into these things and get them going with minimum amount of training. This one really favors that because it's so simple and so straightforward. I've actually driven one of these before and it was incredibly easy to drive. It's basic. If you can use a stick car, you know how to drive this. This might look to the uneducated a little bit like a Sherman tank, but boy, it certainly is not. This is an M10. This is a tank destroyer. But it has an incredible history, doesn't it, Jared? And you're the guy who was responsible for working out exactly what this machine was, where it came from, and actually its whole heritage line. Because when it was bought, it was thought to be a British version, a Wolverine, but it isn't at all.
That's correct. When it came to us, it had a 17-pounder mounted onto the turret.
Which is British and only British.
And at the time, it was assumed that it was the British 17-pounder gun variant that they used as their own self-propelled.
Oh yeah, this is the Achilles, not a Wolverine.
Yes, Achilles, yes.
Right.
It came to us, we thought that's what its provenance was. We were actually getting ready to portray this as a Achilles variant. and started looking into buying some of the British kit to be able to portray this accurately as one of those vehicles. When we started diving into it and started looking at things like the serial number on the front,
Right.
or the mounting points of where the Pioneer tools are, or various things on the inside of the vehicle, there were a lot of boxes that just didn't get ticked that aligned it with what the Commonwealth forces were using for their Achilles variants.